As some of you might know, I am seriously considering moving to America, and I'm a massive, massive sports fan. So, with those two things in mind, where would you go? Like someone like me who would love to experience as many different sports, go to as many games as possible without having to spend an arm and a leg. Like, which city would be the best to pick from?
Really great year to be a Denver sports fan. The Broncos made it to the AFC Championship, the Avalanche are the best team in hockey, the Nuggets are looking to make another strong playoff push, and the Rockies? In fact, the three teams that played in November, the Avs, the Nugs, and the Coes, combined to win 26 games out of 31, and over 80% winning percentage. I gotta say, I'm feeling a little spoiled, but it had me wondering, when and where has been the best time and place to be a sports fan? Specifically an American sports fan. After all, we think we're the only ones who exist, but it's also just easier to tally up the big four: football, basketball, baseball, and hockey. It's also easier to only account for postseason success, playoff runs and championships as opposed to regular season records.
Which makes sense because people only really care about the trophies in the end of the day.
These guys play a lot of games, okay? So I've devised this point system where a first round or wild card exit counts for 1 point, a second rounder is 2, third is 3, a finals berth is worth 4, and a championship is worth 5.
Fair.
Play-in tournament doesn't count. As far as I'm concerned,
fair.
That's a participation trophy. Now, this isn't a perfect system. After all, not all playoff formats have 4 rounds, though I can't in good conscience give a baseball team in the 60s that only had to play the World Series the same amount of points as a team from today, who has to make it through at least 2 additional playoff rounds just to get there. So if it takes 1 round to win a title, you only get 2 points. Not my fault.
That's fair at the end of the day because, if a team has to play way more games, it's harder.
You should have just existed later. Under this system, counting up all the major teams from all the major cities, here's what I've come up with. Really glad I took a whole day to make this. To the layman, this looks like a jumbled up spaghetti of nonsense. And it is. But within these noodles are the highs and lows of millions of sports fans over the last half century. So let's untangle this mess.
My guess is going to be like New York. There must have been a year where the Giants won the Super Bowl and the Yankees won the World Series. There's got to be.
And get to what I think have been the top 10 times and places to be an American sports fan. Starting off with a city that might host the largest variety of professional sports anywhere in the world, the 305 has also seen its fair share of successful teams. The undefeated Dolphins, the wildcard Marlins, the Heatles. Though one particular year I want to call attention to is 2023. That year, all 4 of their major sports teams made their respective playoffs, with the Heat and Panthers in particular making their own respective finals. Sadly, neither of them won, and ever since they've been on drastically different paths, with the Panthers hoisting the last 2 Stanley Cups, while the Heat have gotten bounced straight away 2 years in a row. Truth be told, there's never really been a time where all Miami sports have been firing on all cylinders, and that doesn't look to change anytime soon. So for now, 2023 is about as close as they're gonna get.
What about when LeBron was at the Miami Heat? Like, where did the other Miami teams, how did they fare during that year? Because didn't Miami win 2 championships with LeBron? Or was it just 1? I think it was 2.
Wish I was back in Texas.
Dallas is another city rich in sports history, from the 90s Cowboys to the improbable run of the 2011 Mavericks, but yet again, I want to call attention to 2023, the year that the Cowboys made the wild card, the Stars made the conference final, and out of freaking nowhere, the Texas Rangers won the World Series. Plus, let's not leave out the Mavericks. Though they missed the playoffs that season, they would return with a vengeance in 2024 by making it all the way to the NBA Finals. Not even 2 years ago, things were looking up on just about all fronts.
I mean, Dallas trading Doncic for, Anthony Davis has to be the worst trade I've ever seen. Ever. It's got to be up there, for sure.
So what happened? Luka got traded, Micah got traded, and the Rangers just kind of fell off the horse. The Stars have made 3 consecutive conference finals and have been the bane of my existence for the last 2 years. So there's that. Long story short, now might be the best time to be a Dallas fan on paper, but let's be honest, it was the 90s.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah! Rocky Mountain High.
As fun as it is to be a mile-high sports fan right now, I have to admit, I think my parents had it a little better. In the late 90s and early 2000s, while the Rockies were still a young, crappy baseball team and the Nuggets were an old, crappy basketball team, the Broncos and Avalanche each took 2 titles apiece from 1996 to 2001. 4 championships across 5 years with legends like John Elway and Joe Sakic finally established the booming city of Denver as a legit market for sports and set it up for all the future successes we're enjoying right now. Maybe someday we'll look back on the teams of today as the Renaissance, but it's hard to argue with the hardware. Now, if only the Rockies could get with the program.
Oh yeah, the 49ers.
It's impossible to talk the success of Bay Area sports without mentioning the John Madden Raiders and the Joe Montana 49ers. But the
San Francisco, Golden State, they're near San Francisco, right? Or they're based in San Francisco? The Golden State Warriors?
Art suggests that the best time for San Fran sports was the 2010s, when the Giants established a dynasty, the Warriors established a dynasty, and the San Jose Sharks made the finals once. Different standards. Even the 49ers were still contending during this time, making 2 Super Bowls during the 2012 and 2019 seasons. In fact, you could extend the success into the 2020s, when the 49ers made another Super Bowl, and of course Steph and the Warriors won their 4th title together. For being the little brother sports city of California, San Francisco has done well for itself. I feel a bit bad for Oakland losing all of its teams, but hey, just cross the bay, you'll be fine.
I'm surprised that San Francisco isn't higher on this list because, Golden State during Steph's prime, they won 4 championships. So I'm surprised the other teams in the area didn't also win significant, trophies in that time.
If you're a true Philadelphian, you already know what year I'm about to talk about. 1980, the year that all 4 Philly sports teams made the finals. The Eagles made the Super Bowl, the Sixers made the NBA Finals, the Phillies made the World Series, and the Flyers made the Stanley Cup Final. See? Here they all are imitating Rocky together. The only one to actually take home the championship that year was the Phillies, but that doesn't tell the full story. The Sixers won the finals just 3 years later, and the Flyers made the final 2 more times before the decade was up. Never mind how those went. The state of Philly sports today is kind of all over the place, but at least they can boast of being the only city to host 4 final rounds in the same year.
Is Joel Embiid, is he at the Philadelphia NBA team? Or is he at the Knicks?
I wish I knew what that was like.
Up the middle, and a boot. Would have been a hit in any event. He's heading for second, though.
Yeah, I don't think I ever will. This was the state of Detroit sports around the late 90s and 2000s. The Tigers might have made a World Series and the Pistons won a championship, but the Red Wings, 4 Stanley Cups and 6 trips to the finals from 95 to 09. Even if they had to assault some Avs players to get there, that is a lot of championships. If you were a hockey fan in Detroit,
Dude, I love the Stanley Cup trophy, man. It's got to be one of the best trophies in sports. It's just big and grand, looks good.
you were happy, plain and simple. As for the Lions, nowhere to be found. All 4 teams are in flux at the moment, so it's hard to tell if things will get better. Perhaps the real golden age for Detroiters was the 50s. The Lions were winning, the Red Wings were winning, the Tigers were there, and even though they were still in Fort Wayne, the Pistons were winning too. The 50s were a hell of a time in the Motor City. As long as you didn't mind sitting on an assembly line for your whole life, things were great. As a Chicagoan, you might think back to the 90s, when the entire city's economy was based around Michael Jordan, or even the 40s, when the Bears did the best job avoiding the draft for World War II. But I prefer the stretch from 2005 to 2016. Bookended by the White Sox and Cubs both winning the World Series, the Bears made a Super Bowl, the Bulls made the playoffs almost every single year, and a hockey dynasty was established by the Blackhawks. Look, here's their names on the Stanley Cup. XXXX, that's a weird name. Anyways, besides what happened with that, this was a golden time for the Windy City. As for how things have been ever since...
I mean, Stoney is more worried about Lance Lynn eating a salad than the entire organization not knowing how to teach Major League prospects how to hit a baseball.
Dude is not happy. New York is definitely number 1, isn't it? It's gotta be. It's gotta be.
Here's where we get to the cities propped up by sheer crushing weight of having 11 bajillion teams. Though I thought it was funny, despite the City of Angels having 7 different teams representing them in '94, not a single one of them made the playoffs that year.
Wow.
Well, this sucks.
As great as the Showtime Lakers of the 80s were, the best time statistically for LA sports was just a few years ago, when LeBron got his Mickey Mouse ring and the pre-Shohei Dodgers won.
Whoa, the Mickey Mouse ring. Just because it was in the bubble. Come on, that's harsh.
The Commissioner's Trophy. Then, just 2 years later, the Rams brought the Lombardi Trophy back to LA. And now, coming off a conference finals appearance, with Luka Magic now running the Lakers, and with the Dodgers going for their third straight chip, things might be even better now. Plus, the NHL's Pacific Division is currently led by the Ducks? Okay then. Special shout out to the Clippers and the Angels for doing absolutely nothing.
To be honest, when Kawhi went to the Clippers, I thought for sure the Clippers were going to be the next big team, but it just hasn't worked. Like Kawhi, because at one point he was like one of the best in the world when he won the championship with the Raptors.
Yet another city with a ludicrous amount of teams. You can just pick a decade
New York
at
is
random.
number 2.
The Yanks in the 50s, the Isles in the 80s, the Yanks in the 90s,
Who's number
the Giants
1
in
then?
the 2000s, the Yanks in the 2000s. God, I hate that team. According to the chart, though, the single best year to be a New York sports fan was 2000, when the Knicks made the conference final, the Giants made the Super Bowl, the Devils won Lord Stanley's Cup, and the Yankees beat the Mets in the World Series. In every single sport that year, the Big Apple was at the forefront, which is probably why they have the highest average rating among all cities on this list. And yet, there is still one more that I think is even better. But before we get to that, here are some honorable mentions. This one was kind of random, but between the Falcons making the Super Bowl, the Hawks putting up multiple playoff appearances, and the Braves winning the '95 World Series, I figured it at least deserved a mention. We still talk about you Thrashers. Another pretty random one, St. Louis had some good teams around the turn of the millennium. The Greatest Show on Turf both won and lost the Super Bowl.
What could be number 1? Which city am I forgetting? Which big city am I forgetting? Oh my God. We've seen Miami, we've seen New York, we've seen LA, we've seen Chicago.
And a couple years later, the Cardinals won and lost the World Series. And all that time, the Blues were on an unholy run of 25 straight playoff
The Patriots, New England, Boston.
berths with 0 trips to the finals.
It's got to be Boston, right?
With the great leader of men at quarterback, the Steelers won 2 Super Bowls in the late 2000s, and the Penguins won a Stanley Cup. Plus, the Pirates had their last playoff appearances around this time as well. It isn't much, but I know of one man who was happy. I almost forgot about this one, but while the rest of the world was social distancing, Tampa Bay was living it up. From inside their own homes, of course. That year, the Rays made the World Series, the Lightning won the Stanley Cup, and Tom Brady carried the Bucs to the Promised Land for his 7th Super Bowl ring. It's a shame they couldn't do a traditional parade, but honestly, the boat parades were cooler.
Oh, wow.
It's definitely got to be Boston. Boston are for sure number 1, right?
This place is such a godless land, it's the only 4-sport city I didn't put on the chart. The Browns have been dragging Cleveland down for decades, but there's still one year that stands out. In 2016, the Cleveland Guardians made it to the World Series, and LeBron brought the Cavaliers their first NBA championship, maybe the most significant championship in the history of the NBA. And still, the Browns just
that comeback. Didn't they come back from like 4-1 down or something? Yeah, unbelievable. 3-1 down, I think.
had the Brown all over it by going 1-15 and then going winless the following year. Look, I know it's a long drive, but there's a better team down south. Just go there.
You are a factory of sadness!
And with that, it's time to reveal the best time and place to be an American sports fan. And
Boston.
shocker, it's not a shocker.
I knew it. It had to be. It had to be. That Tom Brady dominance at the Patriots.
Come on, could it really be anywhere else? In just the last 25 years, Boston teams have won a Stanley Cup, 2 NBA championships, 4 World Series, and thanks to the evil empire, 6 Lombardis. That is an average of 1 championship appearance every single year. And the peak was no doubt 2018, when the Bruins made the second round, the Cells made the conference final, and both the Red Sox and Patriots won their respective championships. Even now, the Patriots just made the Super Bowl and the Celtics just won a championship, which is to say that in Boston, even when things suck, they really don't. That's why, with the combination of these stats and having to endure the never-ending noise constantly emanating from their fans, I'm left to conclude that 2010's Boston was the best time and place in American sports. Were there any that I missed? Let me know.
Great video. Yeah, I cannot believe I forgot about Boston at the start of this video. For some reason, you know, when you, like, especially non-Americans, think of American cities, we think of New York, we think of LA, Chicago. Boston doesn't really, for some reason, come into the equation immediately. But when you really think about, you know, the biggest American sports, which dynasties have been the longest and the most successful, New England Patriots. It's hard to find another American team that has been as dominant as they have been in the last 20 years. For sure, for sure. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. And check out the video I'm going to link right here. See you there.